Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome back to the Dugout Football Channel. And yes, it's time to talk Scotland. Yes, I've been looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to this all day. I decided to obviously do this tonight, and yeah, no better guest to have is my very good friend, Mr. Reece Russell. How are you, my friend?
I'm very well, thank you. It has been a long time since we've just done a one-on-one stream, so I am buzzing for this. It's going to be a very interesting show because we planned this for quite a wee while. Obviously, we did speak about it,
Yeah,
saying that we may as well do this because we haven't. We're not going to mince words. We haven't been particularly happy about our national team for quite some time. Like
yeah,
we haven't been, but that's something we unanimously agree on. But the way we get to it is why I like how we discuss football. But sweet Jesus, I'm good, but I'm really excited to talk about this. But I am. I won't be. I won't beat around the bush. I'm not happy about the result last weekend because it was, in my opinion, it was avoidable. And I know that might come across as arrogant. Oh, because like, you're Scottish, you're not exactly a great footballing nation. No, that is true. We're not a great footballing nation, but we pride ourselves on being one of like the one of the nations that everyone, doesn't matter if you love us or hate us, we always want to try and have a good atmosphere,
yeah.
bring the crowd in, even if it's a rival nation or an opposing nation. We try to get them all involved because we want to have fun, but we also want to show our pride as a footballing nation who improved the English game. Before the English come at me on that one, we did teach you how to play possession football, so you're welcome. Um, we certainly want to show ourselves, and this is one of the best, apart from four or five players, this is one of the best footballing teams that we generally have had
Yeah.
since the mid to late 2000s, and before that it was the 80s generation. We've had, well, that's about for far fetched. Some of the 90s as well was quite good, but it's probably one of the best. It's the best team of my generation in that sense. I
Yeah.
won't beat around the bush, but I'm excited to talk about this. But obviously, we are both here for a funeral, Steve Clarke's funeral, so we are wearing black. So we are absolutely here for it. So it's good to see you, and thanks for having me on. It's been quite a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. It has been a while. Yeah, as Reece says there. Hello, folks. Hit the like button, sub to Douglas's channel. Firing all cylinders with Mark to 4K. Yeah, hopefully we'll get there by December. Good evening, James, as well. Hello, hope you are well. Good
Top
to see
lad.
you in the chat. And yeah, small matter of a big game on Wednesday. Yeah, well,
Mm.
I will be speaking more obviously about the Merseyside derby this weekend at
I'm,
some point as well. So
I'm going to give an early prediction. I actually think it's going to finish a 0-0 draw.
wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me. But we're not here to talk about Merseyside derbies.
Oh,
We're obviously here to talk about Scotland and, pardon the pun, the Greek tragedy.
yes.
First things first, the away game
Mm.
was as I wouldn't I wouldn't say perfect, but it was a Scotland performance. It was a battling performance. We were under the cosh for so much of that game. I mean, going into that first game, were you confident of getting anything from Greece? Because I'll be honest, I saw that game as potentially as a draw to take it back to Hampden. But I was very, very happy with the fact that we actually did manage to get that win. So, what did you make of the performance in Greece?
I honestly thought we were going to get a draw. I had people at work,
Mm,
obviously in the office, telling me, "Oh, Scotland have got like no chance." I was like, "No, Scotland will either win in Greece or Scotland will get a draw, but that'll be it." Like
yeah.
I didn't think we would do anything the second leg. I thought the first leg was where it really matters. I I was quite I was quite impressed with the system lineup. I'm starting to notice this is becoming a trend, and I credit another manager that I really like for this, and I think it stems from him on the national
Yeah.
team. I'm going to credit Julian Nagelsmann here because he has been doing this for the best part of a year, where he is playing that same 4-2-3-1 system, but he's playing three central attacking midfielders, and two of them are obviously playing like as the wide tens, but they're coming in very narrow, so it stretches teams. and it allows that central player to be almost like a box to box type number 10, which is
Yeah.
it's very new on the national scene. And I was very surprised that Steve Clarke's done it. I think the 5-1 defeat that we had to Germany at the Euros may have inspired Steve Clarke to go with this system. And
Hmm.
I rate it. And I like what he's done with it. The problem is the performance in the first half was fine. The second half, we really looked slow. We didn't look interested. We looked like we were just going to hold on as much as we can. And that's dangerous because in that second half, Greece should have scored 2 or 3. Like
Yeah.
we should have scored ourselves. Like in the first half, we should have been way ahead, but we
Mm.
blew it, which is typical of our striking options. But when you look at our team in general, the start and performance, I can't fault it. He finally brought Lewis Ferguson back into the team. About time, because he is by far Scotland's best attacking player, and
Yeah.
from a midfield perspective. And then, for some bizarre reason, and maybe it could be mental health from Steve Clarke's side, or he's gone senile, but he decides to drop Lewis Ferguson for the
Yeah.
second leg. And I saw
That
it because I
that's
tagged you in a tweet. I tagged you in a tweet, and I'm like, that's it. The minute he dropped
yeah.
Lewis Ferguson, I was like, that's it. Scotland are going to lose this game because we had nothing. And I said to you before we went live that we discussed his favourites, and we're going to go through them. Obviously, I know we were going to go through his favourites one by one, but how can Steve Clarke drop Lewis Ferguson
Yeah.
and play the one player in that position that doesn't look comfortable going forward from an attacking perspective, but he's brilliant in a holding player? Why would you not play Ryan Christie beside Billy Gilmore in midfield?
I don't honestly know. Um.
He's been brilliant for Iraola at Bournemouth in that insane
Mhm.
position. It makes no sense.
Yeah, yeah. You look at Bournemouth. You look at like where Ryan Christie's playing, and he's playing in that holding midfield role, almost sort of as a number 10, and he is thriving in that position. So decides to play him out wide, where he clearly isn't comfy. You could see the other night. You could see the other night that Greece were on him like a flash. He could not do anything, and obviously the other players are obviously there to
Mm-hmm.
protect him and etc. But I honestly thought the first game was just so good. We were
Yeah.
on them like a flash, and there, I think, let's be honest, I think we're a little bit fortunate to get the penalty. I've looked at that penalty so many times. I know it doesn't obviously
Mm-hmm.
mean much now, but I've looked at that penalty so many times, and I'm
Yeah.
like, is that a foul? Has McTominay gone into the Greek player? Has he
Yeah.
fouled the Greek player? It was just one of them, which was so strange, where like the referee just decided to give it.
It was a good penalty though. I have one issue with the penalty though, and this might sound a bit harsh. The issue I've got with the penalty is not because, as we say in Scotland, because we can't help ourselves, makers takers, but I actually think the wrong person took the penalty. I think when you look at how bad our attackers have been recently, they've got no confidence in front of goal.
Yeah.
He's one of the worst strikers I've ever seen play for Scotland, but I actually think Che Adams should have taken the penalty because he needs a goal.
Mm,
He needs a goal to get confidence. And I get it. McTominay right now is in good form for Napoli. That's fine by me. He is an attacking midfielder at least. We know he's going to score. But I'm like, Che Adams gets constantly criticised for not scoring simple chances, but he had a penalty. Why not just let him take it? Let him get his confidence back.
mm,
And I think he had what 4 or 5 chances in the first game alone,
yeah.
and they were going nowhere. And it's time. I know he's doing it quite. I know he's doing quite well at Torino in terms of numbers, but I don't care. It's time. Che Adams needs to be omitted from future Scotland selections because he cannot score
Mm,
up front. I don't care if he has good hold up of the ball. I don't care if he draws in defenders. That's good, but makes no difference. That's what our three midfielders behind the striker is now. Their job is to play that tucked in position, drag teams out, create chances for the striker. If he can't finish this, if he cannot finish a simple strike in front of goal,
Yeah.
then we're doomed. It's time. Like I think the last time we spoke to, I think the last time we spoke one on one, I was so damn well, excuse my language, but I was pissed off with Steve Clarke because the one player I was begging for, he brought into the squad, and now he's been omitted again. Why is Ryan Gauld not playing in one of those number 10 roles?
Yeah. I
How many times did I beg to you why we get Ryan Gauld in this team? What
I,
does what
I
do you done wrong?
honestly I honestly think when you look at that, that's down to obviously I think the stubbornness.
I think it's
And I
so
think
horrible.
when you look at it as well, yeah, Ryan Gold is playing in like the MLS, and I can understand that, but the thing which I really don't get is he continuously picks Anthony Ralston.
Exactly.
Now,
He doesn't play for
give
Celtic
him
either.
credit. I think he had a good game. I think he had a good game in Greece. I think
Yeah,
he was very
I
good.
I agree.
Um, so, and I give Che Adams his due. I thought he had a good game in Greece as well.
Yeah.
Um, but look, I think going into that second leg, I had high hopes. I really
Yeah.
did. And then
The
what
minute
happened? I mean, well, first things
was
first, the team selection was completely wrong. I don't know what he was thinking in bringing Kenny McLean in for Lewis Ferguson, because Lewis Ferguson for me was our best player in
oh yeah.
Greece.
Him and
Um,
he was excellent in that left sided role because he was doing so well linking between Gilmore and McTominay. You can see the Italian connection in that way from
yeah,
those three. They intercept defenses really well, and I'm like, it's no coincidence that Lewis Ferguson is the highest scoring attacking midfielder in Serie A that's non-Italian,
yeah,
and he's there ready to go. Lewis Ferguson can play as a 10, he can play as an 8, he can play in a holding role. Obviously, Ben Doak is injured, he's unavailable, so you can excuse Ben Doak from being omitted. That's fine.
yeah.
Ryan Gauld, I'm pretty sure, someone in the chat can check this by the way, I'm pretty sure Ryan Gauld has got 15 goals in MLS this season. I think he's already double figures. He can play as a striker, he can play as a number 10. You're playing three number 10s behind a striker. Hello, logic.
Hello, yeah,
Like, even, like, it makes no sense to me. The perfect midfield was right there for him. The perfect midfield was Ryan Christie playing as that, not the sideways McGregor, but the McGregor role where he can hold the midfield and then Billy Gilmore can go forward and he can just wreak havoc. But instead, McLean is what, 34? And he
yeah.
does, and he offers nothing. And the worst thing as well is it's not even just Kenny McLean, it's his club teammate that's consistently picked as well. Why the hell is Grant Hanley always in this squad? He's only
I,
played
I
he's only played 45 minutes all season for Norwich.
gave a
I don't
penalty away in Greece. So we're lucky not to get that given to us, given
exactly,
against us. Sorry.
exactly. Like what? Like is Jack Hendry just because he's playing in Saudi? Is he just automatically now no longer in a team? Which I find odd. Who's the Max Johnson plays for Sturm Graz? Say he's the right
Storm
back.
Graz. Yeah.
They're flying right now. Why is
Hmm.
he? Why is he not? Why is he not starting? I've got a proper Grant Hanley agenda, James. I can't help it. Hello to everyone in the chat, by the way. It's good to see you all.
Yes. Yeah. We'll come to the chat. Actually, we will come to the
There's
chat.
there's some selections doesn't make sense to me. He's I think I know you might agree with this, but I don't think Andy Robertson has particularly been playing well for Scotland recently. I think he's been better for Liverpool, but he's not translated to international scene. I personally think he should have dropped Robertson for Tierney.
Mm.
Or,
Yeah.
or even put Tierney at left centre back and let him handle the left side of the defence, balance it out. Because I think
Yeah.
Suter and Tierney would be a decent partnership.
I think so. James says first leg was a typical performance from us, nitty gritty, and we hung on in the end. Yeah, absolutely. It's always us.
100%.
Same here. I was baffled that Christie was playing there, and you can tell he didn't look comfortable as well. No, and I think as well, the one thing you can say, I don't think Steve Clarke's been watching Bournemouth this season. He clearly doesn't know where to play Christie. Whether it's left side, whether it's right side, whether it's out wide, he should be in the centre of the midfield. He's
That's
been
what I've
thriving there for Bournemouth. He's been thriving there with, you know, he really, really has. So it was very, very surprising
I've put it in the
that,
chat as well. I put in the chat as well. For me, he's got Ryan Christie's got no pace as well. Like
mm,
he's not slow, but he's not got the pace to play in one of those 10 roles.
yeah. James says, I had to look at the penalty replay that many times. I did as well. I'm
That
still
was
not convinced that is a penalty. Big up, Chris Welsh. Hope you were well. I
I
obviously I know that we're all F1 fans as well.
yeah.
Yeah, Red Bull have decided to replace Liam Lawson with Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, my team is free from Lewis Hamilton. We're sitting second in the constructors' championship, so I'm smooth sailing as a Mercedes fan right now. I'm happy.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I find it weird. I feel bad for him though. That I feel bad. I will say this, even though I'm not a Lewis Hamilton fan, I feel bad for him that he got disqualified from the race over the undercar. That's not his fault. That's a Ferrari problem.
Yeah, fair. What's Lavalari, I think is he would say it.
Oh,
100% Reece, I would have given them the chance for the penalty. Yeah, I would as well. And again, I know we'll obviously get on to obviously more about obviously Steve Clarke. Obviously,
mhm.
well, should he stay or should he go later on in the show? But what I will say is that Che Adams did have a good game in Greece. He
He did.
did, but it's been one less game, if you know what I mean. He doesn't do it consistently, and he needs to do it
Yeah,
consistently. Unfortunately.
yeah,
Good evening, Rich, as well. Hi, Reece Douglas. I think Alex thinks he needs to go as well.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. He said the same thing.
I've no clue who you'll get to replace Clark. Ferguson don't see happening after his pass with Scottish FA. Obviously, you both will know who could replace Clark. Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
I have
Rich
I've
saying
only
hello
got
to
2 names.
James. James saying hello to Rich. I've been saying this for ages on Grant Hanley. Yeah, I think we all have. I think we all have, and unfortunately, as well. Stephen Jurzen, hello mate. Steve Clark needs to go. We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
It's his funeral.
Bluebird Legends, Paul. Hello, hello, hello. How was the wrestling, Reece?
It was quality actually. I've just responded to it, and also fair play, you guys. The result against Kazakhstan. I actually watched the highlights of the game. That was good performance by Wales. I think 3-1 is the wrong score. I think you should have scored double that personally. No disrespect to Kazakhstan. It's just I saw the chances Wales had. Wales should have had at least 6 goals in my opinion.
Yeah. So, on to the game. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we had an early chance with McTominay, but after that,
That was it.
it was basically that was it. Greece outplayed us, absolutely outplayed us, and that 17-year-old, I can't think of his name, but he was just unbelievable. He
Konstantinos or
tore us
something.
apart, on Sunday at Hampden when he came on the other night in the actual Greece as well. He looked pretty good.
Konstantinos Karetsas.
Yeah,
What a
watched it.
baller.
One to watch.
Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Barcelona, and Real Madrid have all started scouting him on that
Yeah.
one performance.
I'm not surprised, but yeah, Greece. He was unbelievable. And yeah, it was
17.
17 years old. But let's be honest, the tie was basically done in the first half. I mean, we conceded a stupid. It, don't you actually get physically sick of the amount of times we always seem to concede cross balls into our box? Basically, all Greece could do, cross it into the box, cross
Yeah,
ball. Then the Greek forward, I think it was Solas that put it
Solas.
away.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, it's just so annoying, so annoying. Um,
I actually
and look,
don't know whether it's become such a pattern. You can watch a Scotland game right now and you can predict 5 things. Scotland are going to work hard. Scotland are going to either dominate the possession and win the game, or
yeah,
Scotland are going to dominate possession and then they're going to get picked apart in the counter attack. Then Scotland are going to score a decent goal from McTominay, and then his online fans are going to laugh him up like the best players in sliced bread. And then the fifth thing is Scotland are going to concede those stupid cutback crosses. It's it's become a major problem, and
yeah.
I actually don't think there's a coach on this planet that can actually fix that. I think it's more than just that. I think it's a mental issue, and I think it's the players themselves are such in a habit now that they don't take ownership, they don't take accountability. The minute it happens, they're ball watching, and
Yeah.
Grant Hanley. This is where I'm going to defend Grant Hanley, but then I'm going to immediately criticise him. So I'm going to praise him for the fact that it's never Grant Hanley that's ball watching,
No.
but it's Grant Hanley that's making the error of going in so aggressive to win the ball back, and he's the one that gives the penalties away. And I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, you're an experienced defender. You're not a good one, but you're an experienced defender. You cannot keep giving these errors away. It's becoming such a. If this had been an even bigger player in the grand scale, say it was like a Rudiger or a Van Dijk,
Mm.
they would be slated left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
Grant Hanley, on that extent, I'm not saying he's on their level, but the amount of times he's doing this now, he needs to constantly be in that criticism level where he has to be held accountable every single game. Because I don't know, we need to actually physically check how many penalties he's gave away for Scotland because it's double figures now, surely.
Must be.
Because
Must be.
it's not even funny anymore. Like it's you want to laugh. If you don't laugh, you cry. And if you
Yeah.
cry, you can't laugh. And it's
I mean, the first goal. Okay, it is it is a cross ball. It's something that
yeah,
we just can't defend at all. Second goal, there's nothing Craig Gordon can do. It's an absolute wonderful finish from
chef's
that
kiss.
Carestas. He
Yes,
was
chef's kiss goal. Chef's kiss. Like no
yeah,
one's given that.
fantastic. And then I think it's James actually that said it here.
Yeah,
I
I was
turned my TV
crazy.
off when the third goal went in. Greece completely played out for us in all departments. The worst possible start to the second half. You,
35 seconds. 35
35
seconds,
seconds. You go in, regroup. Um,
and that's it.
it felt like we didn't even get out the dressing room. It was just that so easy for Greece to play through us, and obviously Solis hit the third, and then yeah, that was good night.
It's even worse as
Good
well.
night Athens.
It's even worse as well that we're coming out for the second half, and I'm sitting there going, "Yeah, that is true." I'm sitting there thinking, going into the second half, one or two things is either going to happen. Scotland are going to try and come out and they're going to try and pressure Greece quickly and make a counter attack, or Scotland are going to be left unstuck because Steve Clarke won't make substitutions.
Yeah,
Steve Clarke made no changes. We concede. Now he's making a triple change.
yeah.
He should have made the triple change.
Should have done at halftime.
I would have done it before the second goal went in. The minute the second goal goes in, I'm making a triple change, and it gives him a full 45 minutes. Instead, he's like, nah, it's all right. Also, this is where I really need to criticise Steve Clarke. This is the part that I don't understand. We have strikers, numbers, and attacking midfielders on the bench, but he brings on Kieran Tierney, puts him on the left wing, and then he puts him in midfield to put Lewis Ferguson in the attacking midfield, and then he completely ostracises George Hurst because he pulls the defensive midfielders back and he goes back to 5-4-1. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm like, mate, no, stay in your system, push the team high, and give George Hurst support.
Mm.
It's a joke.
Yeah, Chris says Yuka Tsunoda should have been the choice in the first place. I feel bad for Lawson the way he was treated. So as for Failleri, I have no sympathy for Hamilton. Went for a retirement pension.
I think he's going to do well at Ferrari. To be fair, I just think he was unfair that he was. It's a Ferrari issue that he got let down in that race. Because I think personally, if he hadn't been disqualified, I think Lewis Hamilton would have won the Chinese Grand Prix.
Yeah, I turned my. Oh, I've read it. I'll read it again. I turned my TV off when the third goal went in. Greece completely outplayed us in all departments. Faleri had failed even with Vettel and Alonso there, but no people decided to get overhyped, not
Yeah.
noticing. It's Faleri. They do this every season. If
Stephen Huntley
Mercedes finish above Faleri this season, I'll be lapping it up and won't shut up about it. That would be the best F you to Hamilton.
30 points clear.
So know that Red Bull. Let's see how that works. He has good moments, but has bad moments. The bad moments
I like Tsunoda.
being reckless.
I like Tsunoda. I feel bad for Liam Lawson as well, to be fair. I think he's a good driver, but he was put in a position too early that he shouldn't have been in. And obviously, it was the hardest neutral watch for me later on, the Germany-Italy game, because obviously connections to both sides, but that's the best game of international football I've watched since last year's World Cup. Sorry, the World Cup a couple of years ago. Best game of international football since. What an amazing game, Germany versus Italy in Dortmund. But
So,
the anger,
go
the
go
anger of
away,
the team
go away, sleep it off.
didn't really do much. The anger was there.
No, it didn't. But yes, Scotland are relegated to League B of the Nations League. And look, you know,
I
it
got a
was always
theory.
a tricky group with Portugal,
I got a
Croatia,
theory.
and Poland.
I got a weird theory, and I want to know if what you think of this, and I want to get the chat's opinion as well, because we do have English people in the chat as well. Now, I'm not blaming England. My theory is just on England itself. England are one of the top seeded football and top ranked footballing nations in the world. Rightly so. They get relegated to League B, and Scotland get promoted to League A. And now all of a sudden, we're going to bring in a playoff for who gets into what league for the Nations League, as England are relegated for the first time. Is that not a bit of a weird coincidence to you?
It is a wee bit, yeah.
Now, I'm not blaming England, but I think it's weird that England get relegated. This playoff automatically now comes in. Whereas
Yeah,
Scotland and Hungary are the two best performing nations in the Nations League's entire history based on performances
yeah.
consistently, which I don't understand.
Hamilton will win races but won't win titles unless Ferrari sort their horrific team members and strategy out 100%. Clash of two egos don't help either. Hamilton, ego of a 7-time champion. Leclerc, ego of being a bridesmaid. You
His
might have a
title is
valid
coming.
point, Reese,
His,
says
his,
James.
His title is coming, though. Yeah, I think I do. Obviously, I'm not blaming England. I mean, to be fair, England's two performances against Albania and the other yin weren't particularly great. They should have been doing a whole lot better. But it's just a very strange, odd coincidence that they are relegated for the first time, and all of a sudden this playoff comes in. Are you trying to tell me that England can't get promoted on their own merit? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. Right, here is the very interesting part of the show, and I think this will be very, very feisty.
Yeah.
Steve Clarke. So,
Yep.
he has been in charge since 2019. His record currently 66 games played, 28 wins, 15 draws, 23 defeats. He has a 42.42% win rate. Only, and I say this very, very interestingly,
And
only
accurately,
and accurately, Gordon Strachan, Alex McLeish in his first stint.
which was actually quite good.
Yeah, his first stint was very, very good. Walter Smith, of course, God rest his soul. Craig Brown, God rest his soul.
Yep.
Willie Ormond, Tommy Docherty. In fact, Bobby Brown from 67 71 has actually got the same amount of points as Steve Clarke does, which is very, very interestingly.
Yep.
Ian McCall from the 60s. Obviously, Matt Busby, of course, God rest his soul as well.
Yeah, decent record.
So yeah, and actually, yeah, I'm reading here, selection committee, 1872-1953. So we certainly didn't.
Where
Yeah,
does
we certainly didn't.
Here's an interesting one. Where does both Jock Stein rank and where does Alex Ferguson rank? Because obviously Alex Ferguson had an interim run when Jock Stein, God rest his soul, passed away. So where does Jock Stein rank in terms of
Jock Stein, 42.62. So only 0.20 better than Steve Clarke, which is interestingly.
Who's our best performing for win percentage?
Alex McLeish in 2007. He had 7 wins, 3 defeats before he went back to Rangers.
Briefly, and then he bolted. Wait,
Yeah.
hang on. No, he never went back to the Rangers job. He went down south. Because Walter Smith.
That's right. Birmingham City, wasn't it? Birmingham City, then Aston Villa. Yeah, that's right.
Because he replaced Walter Smith, because Walter took McCoy's back to Rangers and they done their run together. So Alex McLeish for the 10 game. Yeah, because he was in charge for the 2 French games in that very dubious Italian game where a free kick was given that was never a free kick, which led to that late goal. I nearly put my face in my pal's TV.
Exactly. So 2019, he's been there been there 6 years. He's been in the Scotland job for 6 years.
And 2 international tournaments as well.
Yes. On what you saw on Sunday and Wednesday, and people in the chat, obviously James, I know you'll still be in here.
Yeah.
Is it time for Steve Clarke to go, in your opinion?
For me, I am going to reiterate what I said to you the last time we spoke. Steve Clarke should have been relieved of his job after the Euros ended. And the reason why I believe he should have been relieved of his job at that point was I believe going into the Euros, the Lewis Ferguson injury aside, he still picked a team that was actually playing good attacking football, and he completely betrayed that. He went back. He went from the 4-3-3 and the 4-2-3-1, playing high possession, direct football. That I was like, this is actually what Scotland need. He betrayed that. He went back to the 5-4-1, and he made Scotland play so damn defensive that we had no chance of getting out of a group that we actually had a decent chance of getting out of. He made us so defensive, so turgid, gave us no leg to stand on. And then after that, he's still in his job, which I found genuinely stupid. And I hate the excuse from the SFA. We can't afford to pay off his contract. Yes, you can. You just choose not to because he is in your back pocket. It's ridiculous. Steve Clarke himself, he's an experienced manager. He's under-delivered. He should have been relieved of his job. Like that. So yeah, I still think then, like, I don't dislike Steve Clarke, but when I look at it from a biased perspective, I want him out because he betrayed the style that he was already introducing and that was actually working, that got us promoted back to back in the Nations League, and won us our first 5 games in a row as well, qualifying for the tournament. We still the only team to beat Spain in the last 2 years. he betrayed that style to play super defensive, and we got completely we rightfully got mugged at the Euros for it, and then we come to the Nations League and it's been the exact same thing. So as far as I'm concerned, he should have been relieved of his job after the Euros. The fact he's still in a job makes me sick. The fact that we had the perfect opportunity, in my opinion, to get the best candidate for the job. The manager I said to you we should have got and we didn't do it was David Moyes. We blew that chance and now he's doing well at Everton. Jammy get because he's above us in the league. So the only other option, in my opinion, is either Scotland go back to another international manager who will try and make Scotland look aggressive and attacking style. I don't care where you're from. I know some people believe that it should be a Scottish manager managing the national team. I don't have an issue with that, but for me, Scotland managers don't particularly play good attacking football. I think Scotland, the talent we've got, we should be playing a high pressing style. I think it's time that we do that. We go and get an aggressive attacking manager, or the only other manager, I would say get Derek McInnes. But I look at it and I don't think there's anyone else out there. It's Moyes, McInnes, or a European manager that likes to play attacking football. Because Steve Clarke already betrayed our style. So for me, he has to go. There's no international games till the summer. Get him gone.
Yeah, I mean we've got friendlies against Liechtenstein and Iceland. what great 2 games to whet the appetite. Look, I'll be honest. Steve Clarke has done a magnificent job for us.
Massive.
There's no denying that he has done very, very good. I mean, obviously getting us to the Euros in 2021, which was fantastic.
I don't care.
You know that night in Serbia, everyone will remember it.
Yeah. I don't care if
but
it was
obviously
we still got there.
Yeah, but obviously we lost to Czech Republic and Croatia. And David Marshall decided to go so far off his line where Patrick Schick just decided to lob him.
Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that in the Nations League, Scotland play football like they play like Austria or Germany in the Nations League. They play high press and direct football. And then when they get to the Nations League, not Nations League, when they get to a European Championship, which they've done back to back, we go and play ultra defensive 5-4-1 football. And I'm like, I'm not saying we're the best footballing nation in the world, but when you're one of the best performing nations in the Nations League playing good football, why would you get afraid all of a sudden into the main tournament and then back off?
Mm. Yeah.
I don't get it.
Obviously, that tournament as well. We obviously drew with England 0-0.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously after that it was obviously the defeats to Czech Republic and Croatia. I think Czech Republic and Croatia are two fantastic sides. There's no
Yeah.
denying it. Then we come to the 2022 FIFA World Cup qualification, where
Oh God.
this was really, really, really good. Um, we got second place in Group F, which was very, very good. But we went into the playoffs and we lost 3-1 to Ukraine. So that was
And
disappointing.
I hate the narrative still on this that people are saying Scotland lost on purpose. We didn't lose on purpose. Ukraine, with what was going on right now, chose to turn up for the first time in their lives.
Yeah, yeah,
And we
yeah,
didn't know how to respond. Like it was nothing about Scotland deliberately losing that because the Welsh battered them. So clearly we didn't lose on purpose. Mentality
yeah,
changes everything, especially in a horrible international situation.
yeah. And then we won our promotion to League A by winning our Group B group, which was Israel. Oh, who was it? Israel, Ukraine. Because
Again,
you remember we actually had
we had
Ukraine.
as well, didn't we?
We had Ukraine, Israel. Who's the other team? I
It
think there's
wasn't.
three.
I think I'll just double check just now. So our that was our last group. So that's not what we want. Is it 2020?
2022, 2023 Nations League. I'm pretty sure we had Ukraine because I think we battered them 3-0
We
at
did.
Hamden. And I think we beat Israel home and away, if my memory serves me correctly. I think that was that. Um,
We that was it. Yes, because remember we got smashed by Ireland, and then we beat them in the return. Like they beat us
that's
at
right.
they beat us at
Yeah,
the Aviva. Aye, we lost. Aye, that was it. Yeah, and they beat us 2-1. We beat them. Was it? Did we beat them 3-0? Did we beat them 2-1? Either way, we won the group by 2 points. We scored 11 goals, conceded 5. The only
yeah.
loss we had that entire group was the loss to Ireland.
Lost to Ireland, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
we smashed Armenia 4-1, which was mental.
yeah. Yeah, that was something good. And then ahead of obviously UEFA qualifying, Clark did sign a new contract. Now this is due to run until 2026. So what this means is obviously if we do get to the World Cup in USA, Mexico, and Canada,
He's going to get
it
it.
is likely to be his last sort of competition with us.
Yeah,
But in Euro 2024 qualifying, we were unbelievable. We beat Cyprus twice. We beat Spain, the only team to beat Spain
in the
in the
last 2
last
years.
12 to 18 months, which is unbelievable.
Yeah,
Beat Norway away. Oh yeah, Norway away. That's one thing you can say. Well done, Kenny McLean, because um, he obviously scored the winner that day. So
yeah.
fair play. And then Georgia was the game. If you remember, it was the game where it was very very heavy rain and the ball was waterlogged, and basically I had to wait until I had to wait until 9:30 for the game to
It
kick off
was
again.
bad.
I didn't actually get home until 1 a.m. that night, which is
It was
really really
bad.
bad.
Yeah, really bad.
Um, and then obviously, yeah, we did achieve qualification for that tournament, and then yeah, to get Germany, Hungary, and Switzerland, a group where you'd be like, okay, it's a group that you would kind of maybe try to, get out of, but again,
Mhm.
very very bad defensively. We were very very poor.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
looking. I'm actually looking at our squad right, and this is going to make you sick, like physically sick. I'm not just looking at recent call ups as well because there's players on the recent call up list that weren't including a squad that angered me, but this is concerning. So I'll go position to position for the current for the recent squad. Craig Gordon, 81 caps, 42 years old. Liam Kelly, 1 cap.
yeah,
Kieran Slicker, the Ipswich goalkeeper, his first squad, so no caps.
Yeah.
So at 22 years old. Defence, now in defenders. Ralston at 26 years old, has had 20 caps, 1 goal. Robertson is now 31, 82 caps, 4 goals. Grant Hanley has played 61 games with 2 goals as a 33-year-old. Kieran Tierney, 49 caps, 1 goal, 27. Jack Hendry has played 34 games, 3 goals at the age of 29. John Suter, 15 caps, 1 goal, 28
Yeah.
years old. Scott McKenna, no idea why he didn't even start the game, which is weird. 40 caps, 1 goal, 28 years old. Max Johnson, Sturm Graz, 1 appearance. Ryan Porteous, 26 years old, 13 games, 13 caps, 1 goal. The youngest defender there, obviously, is Max Johnson, understandable.
Yeah.
Midfielders, Scott McTominay, 28 years old, 60 caps, 12 goals. John McGinn, 30 years old, 75 caps, 20 goals. Billy Gilmore, 23, he's got 38 caps, 2 goals. Ryan Christie's played 59 games for Scotland, 7 goals at 30 years old. Lewis Ferguson, 14 caps, no goals yet. Those are going to
Yeah.
come. The youngest midfielder, obviously, has just been called up for the first time. What an amazing young player he is. Lennon Miller.
Lennon Miller. Yeah.
Yeah. Kenny McLean at 33 years old. January 1992. Fair enough. 50 caps, 2 goals. God almighty. Our strikers. This is where you're going to physically cover your eyes. So Tommy Conway, 22 years old, 4 caps, no goals. He hasn't had any chances, to be fair. Che Adams, 28 years old. He's 29 in July. 37 appearances, 6 goals for Scotland. James Wilson at 18. He's the youngest striker in the squad. Understandable. One appearance, 0 goals. Kevin Nisbet, who's a month older than me. Jesus. Kevin Nisbet, 28 years old. 11 appearances, 1 goal. George Hurst, 2 caps, 0 goals. I've got high hopes for him. I really like him.
Yeah.
But then we get to the bizarre bit. These are all the recent call-ups that make no sense to me. Greg Taylor, personally, I don't think.
Where's he been all season?
Yeah, he's played 14 caps for Scotland, no goals.
Yeah.
At 27. Liam Lindsay was a recent call-up for the October Portugal game. He didn't even get in a match.
No.
And he's 29. Jack McKenzie for Aberdeen, 24 years old, didn't get a single appearance. But this is the one that makes no sense. You call up Josh Doig, who's been playing well for Sassuolo. He was called up for the September game against Portugal. He didn't even get on. Liam Cooper, 33 years old, 19 caps, hasn't had a game since Euro 2024. Ross McCrory hasn't been called up since Euro 2024. Midfield, Ben Doak, he's injured, but he's got 6 caps. Ryan Gauld also has 6 caps for Scotland. He hasn't been called up since Poland. Connor Barron, 22, hasn't been called up since Poland. Lewis Morgan at 28, another wide midfielder, number 10. He's not been called up since Croatia. Andy Irving he was 0 caps, 0 goals. He was called up for the Portugal squad in October, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
Obviously, Callum McGregor, Ryan Jack, they'll never play for Scotland again. Lyndon Dykes, obviously, he's injured, but he's played 42 games, 9 goals for Scotland. Last called up for Poland, which was also the same time, the last time that Lawrence Shanklin was called up for Scotland at 16 games, 3 goals. The numbers are genuinely baffling. But the young talent right there, Josh Doig, Ben Doak, Ryan Gauld, to be fair, 29, but still young for that position. Connor Barron, Lewis Morgan, Andy Irving, Lawrence Shankland. I get it, he's not particularly delivered, but Lawrence Shankland is going to do more in a Scotland shirt than Che Adams. Why are these guys not getting picked? I don't get it.
it baffles me. But I think now we're going to go into a situation now where the squad is aging badly.
Hey,
The
John,
squad is really aging badly.
we've got good young. There's one player that's not been called up to Scotland. There's two players, one at youth level and one never played for the international. I don't understand how the hell did we bottle Elliot Anderson?
Yeah,
And the last one, another player plays in a deep position. Why has Liam Henderson never been given a chance in this Scotland team? That's the
yeah,
that's the biggest mistake. He's doing so well at Empoli. Why has he never been picked for Scotland? I don't get it. He was
yeah,
brilliant. He was brilliant at Hibs, and he's brilliant at Empoli in the same defensive midfield role. Our best
yeah.
players
And
are in Serie A.
yeah, that's what I was going to say, because when we look at the Scotland squad, half of them are in Italy now.
And they're
Um,
thriving.
and are thriving really, really well. Obviously, McTominay for Napoli has been excellent. Ferguson for obviously Bologna has been really good. I know he's obviously just came back from injury as well. But yeah, some of the names you mentioned off there, it's safe to say that this is really, really, really grinds my gears with Steve Clarke. Every manager will have their favourites. I can guarantee that every manager will have their favourites. But Anthony Ralston has not been good enough for Scotland. Okay, he had a good game against Greece, but again on Sunday, went completely missing. Nathan Patterson hasn't been seen for ages. I know he has had his injury problems again,
But he's been
but
fit
when Nathan
largely.
Patterson plays at right back,
He looks so good.
he looks so good. He looks
Where
so good.
is
Grant
that?
Hanley, I'm sorry to say, he needs to basically
Retire.
retire. Uh,
What happened
I think
to the other boy that plays right back for Scotland? The Brentford boy. Is he just never fit anymore?
Aaron Hickey.
Yeah. Is he never? Is he
Yeah,
just not fit anymore?
that's another one. That's another one where I'm like, okay, he's another one that can really sort of thrive down that position. But
Yeah.
again, not fit, unfortunately. Um, Obviously, we've got to talk about Grant Hanley. Obviously, John Suter,
He's
he's
been.
okay.
At least he
But
can
I
be relied
think
upon.
when we're looking at this squad, most of them are like 30 plus, and that's the really, 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 really bad thing about this squad as well. And when you also look at it as well, we've got a 42-year-old in goal as
Yeah.
well.
Like Angus
Um,
Gunn. Like after that one bad game that Angus Gunn had, all of a sudden he's now never back in a squad.
to be fair though, he has had a serious injury as well.
Fair. You know what I don't understand? I understand Liam Kelly being in the squad. He's a decent goalkeeper, and he's had when he's played this season for Rangers, he's been all right. But why is McCrory not being given a chance to play? I think McCrory's a decent goalkeeper.
Therein lies the problem. We've not got enough.
I don't get it.
I think this all goes down to sort of youth level as well. I don't think we've got enough good players to make that step up. Unfortunately, you
Our
look at
last,
Lawrence.
I looked at recent call ups for goalkeepers as well. Xander Clark got called up for the Portugal game in September. And he's at
Mm-hmm.
32. Angus Gunn's 29. He's got 15 caps for Scotland. I haven't watched a lot of Dundee, but you might be able to say it. But John McCracken got called up for the Portugal game in October, and he didn't even start or even get on the bench. And
Yeah,
Robbie McCrory hasn't been called up for Scotland since the Poland game in November, and he hasn't had a single cap either. He's 27. McCracken's 24. He's 25 in May. McCrory only turned 27 last week.
yeah,
And that's
and
pretty that's
then
good age.
I suppose as well you've got to go through. You've got to go through our like Captain Andy Robertson is what 31.
He's 31 now. When's he is 32. He just turned 32. He's got the same birthday as my best pal. Yeah, he just turned 32. Grant Hanley, if he gets
Right.
called up this year, he's 34 in November. John Stewart's 29 in September. Scott
Yeah.
McKenna's 29 in November. Max Johnson's only 22 in December, at least that's okay. And Kieran Tierney's 28 in June. Oh, wow. Oh, I didn't even know that. Jack Hendry's 30 in May.
Wow.
I thought he was younger than that.
I thought he was. I thought he was a lot younger than that.
You learn
So
something every day.
therein sort of lies the problem again, is that we've got an aging squad. However, my argument to that would be we have a very attacking squad now. You know,
Mhm.
I look at Ben Doak. Ben
I
Doak, since he's came into Scotland, he's been excellent.
Wow.
He has been very good.
I love him.
It's a
I love
shame.
watching him. I hate the
It's a
fact he plays
shame
for
he's
Liverpool,
injured.
though. Yeah.
It's a shame he's injured, but I think when he comes back fit, he'll be absolutely fine.
What injury did he get again?
Ankle injury, I think it was for Middlesbrough.
I When's he? You know, I'm actually check. Is he on loan at Middlesbrough? Is he permanent?
He's on loan at Middlesbrough.
Let's have a
He's
look.
on loan at Middlesbrough. So
Let's have a look.
there is that argument, but Clark clearly has his favourites: Hanley, Ralston, McLean, Adams. Um, I'm sure I'm missing somebody there, but
To be fair, Robertson when he's not in Robertson when he's not in good form is always favoured as well. But maybe that's the issue of Greg Taylor hasn't stepped up for
he,
Celtic this season.
he's yeah. But again, he is Scotland captain, so I can understand where that's coming from, but I think there's more sort of pros without the cons with Steve Clarke. Like I've got to say,
Yeah,
Steve Clarke, we're not criticizing his record here. It's just the fact that we think that it's maybe time for a new blood to come in and say that. But my question to you, Reece, is who is out there? Because I look at the managers, and you know there's a couple of comments. Actually, let's go to the comments, and then we'll speak about managers, because
there's one
I
name I
think
did
it's
say for a joke. There's a name I said for a joke once. Well, two names I said for a joke, and I stand by them just for pure for ecstasy. But I said for a laugh, Scotland should either go for Ralph Rangnick, tempt him out the Austria job, or go for Jurgen Klinsmann.
mm.
Just for pure entertainment.
So
But
James says, I've been a fan of Clark for a while, but for me it's time to move on. We need something fresh moving forward. Yeah. I'm
yeah,
exactly in the same boat. Hello, Nathan. Steve Clarke has turned into Rob Page in disguise. Or is that an insult on Steve Clarke? That is a clear insult on Steve Clarke, because Steve Clarke has done more than Rob Page has ever done in a Wales manager's
exactly,
job. Um, Chris
exactly.
says, I remember when you beat Spain. I said Spain have no chance winning the Euros. Ah, that didn't go well for me.
I honestly thought the Germans were going to win that tournament. They were the better team in that
Mm,
tournament until. To be fair, that was the tie. Like it was whoever was winning that game was winning the Euros anyway, because they were the two best teams, starting
yeah.
11 and bench.
James says Moyes would have been my first choice as well before he came back to us. Yeah, I think so as well. Chris
Yeah,
says he would have said Moyes. Thing with Sonoda, he don't play second fiddle. That's why he wasn't chosen for the Red Bull previously. That is very true. England sometimes may well get a bye to tournaments. I'm one this England fan when I say that I never judge us until tournaments. Good. Oops, it is a good evening, John. Hope you're well. Good to catch you guys live. Good to catch you in here, my friend. I believe in Gary Hanley. No, I don't. Carl, good evening. Good evening. Good evening. If Clark goes, then who's the best person for the job? Well, you asked that.
may I share my screen so we can perhaps identify something of interest?
Yes, absolutely.
So I've actually went on. It's not the best source, but it's interesting. I've went on Transfer Market and I've actually looked at managers that are out of a contract, and
Okay.
it's a long list. But I'm already going to rule out Russell Martin. Don't worry. But there is a crazy list of managers here that are actually out of a job. Now, number one, 100% no chance. The top of that list, if you can see
So,
it,
any chance you can make that bigger?
I can try. There we go. How's that?
Yeah, there
So,
we go.
so unfortunately, Southgate is the top person on the list. Number two, I wouldn't mind, by the way. I actually would not
Mm-hmm.
say. I would be like, you know what? Even though you let me down at Euro 2020, I wouldn't say no to Joachim Low. There's some managers here that I don't recognise, but maybe you will. Telat Uzum, I I have
No, I
no
don't
idea who that
recognise
is.
them.
Ten Hag is a no. Scotland couldn't afford him anyway, and we would concede chances all the time. Xavi, no. Thiago Motta has just been relieved of his Juventus job.
Them two just don't strike me as international managers.
Yep. Mazzari, hell no.
No,
Allegri, no. Edin Terzic.
that would be interesting.
There's something about him I really do like. Nuri Sahin, too inexperienced, no.
Yeah,
Lopetegui, I doubt it. Albert Saladas, I mean, Valencia, pass. I actually wouldn't mind this guy.
yes, I had that name in my head, and I was just waiting until you came to it to see what
He's,
you would react to that.
I like Kasper Hjulmand. I like what he did with Denmark, and I think Denmark made the wrong decision to let him go.
I think so.
But
Wait, but to be fair, we do actually have Denmark. We've got Denmark, Greece, and Belarus in our
I think
World
it
Cup
would be
qualifying
strong.
squad.
I think
Yeah,
he would
group.
get us play. He would get us playing a high intensity style of football. I think he would maybe change Scotland back to a back three,
Hmm.
but we would play an attacking back three. Not obviously, there's some games where we're going to play defensive, but he'll have us play when even if we're playing defensive, he'll have us playing high at least, so we
Hmm.
can quickly get the ball upfield. The likes of Robertson in a wing back role that's high up, or even a wide midfield role. I'm not saying no to that. Gary O'Neill, pass.
No.
Roger Schmidt recently left the Benfica job. He won the league and then they let him go,
Mm.
which is just mad. Vitor Bruno, he got sacked in January. So no. Sam Allardyce, no chance. Dunga hasn't. He's been out of a job for 9 years. We can effectively rule Dunga out.
Yeah.
Sean Dyche.
Not an international manager.
There is one who's actually not long out of an international job, and that's Domenico Tedesco, who was recently in the Belgium job. Italian-German manager.
Yeah.
It's the Belgium job. I would give him the benefit of the doubt, but he's a decent manager. But I'm not sure if it's the right idea.
I'm not sure. He didn't do well with Belgium. It's
It's a
safe to
hard
say
job.
that Belgian performance at that Euros was a disgrace. The Belgian performance in the World Cup was a disgrace as well.
I agree. Javi Gracia,
Nah.
no. Brian Prisk, he was in, wow, Feyenoord until a month ago.
Yeah, they replaced him with Robin van Persie.
Yeah, and they look comfortable. Jose Luis Rueda, Stuttgart manager. No, because
Don't know much about him.
me neither. Russell Martin and Steve Cooper, goodbye. Just immediately, like they can F off.
So are we saying the top three for the moment is David Moyes, Derek McInnes, and Kasper Hjulmand?
Yeah, there's actually some decent managers on this. There's actually a manager on this list I really do like, and you're already getting the Milan job. You're all right. You're too old. You're rubbish. You worked for Leon. You're out. I have a weird soft spot for Jorge Sampaoli and his attacking style of football, but I think the problem is he requires players to be so damn fit that he burns them out. But
Yeah.
they play really good football. I like it, but I think it would be risky. TT, no. Julian Stefan's a free agent? Okay. Pep Linders, no.
Which route to go? Either a Scottish or foreign manager. That is very true. The
I think
attack
it
has been a
has to be
worry for a
one.
long time. It has, James. That is a big factor, I would say. Hey, JW, good to see you. And Carl, for me, it's foreign now, but from an attacking perspective, it plays a high pressing style.
What do you
Same
know?
with,
What do you know? Right here, just under Kike Flores Sanchez, is Jurgen Klinsmann.
Jurgen Klinsmann. Same with Nathan Patterson. He's hardly ever fit.
Mhm.
The squad is very worrying, especially players on the wrong side of 30. Yeah, James
So
says, I don't
many.
mind a couple of old heads in the squad, but the amount of players around the age or over the age of 30 isn't ideal at all. Southgate, no chance.
Yeah.
Would rather have Nadia from The Apprentice in charge than Gary O'Neill.
I agree. I'm looking, and there's not many. I mean, Alex McLeish's been out of a job for 6 years, but to be fair, I would rather he doesn't get back in the job. It wouldn't be worth it. His last job was Scotland temporarily until they brought in Steve Clarke. I'm looking on
Mm,
this page, and there's no one here that really stands out. Rob Page can piss off. Rafael Benitez, absolutely not. Van Bommel, no. There's
yeah,
no one on.
there's not an awful lot of candidates out there.
I think the dream for me, just for craziness, would be Joachim Low. But
Mm,
I think reality that we have. Oh, Felix McGaff has been out of a job for 3 years. Um, I think when you look at it realistically, Raymond Domenech. I think for me, the dream would be Joachim Low or a Klinsmann, just because they actually understand international football. But a realistic sense, Casper Hielmand is also a dream, but realism. But
yeah,
Sam Pioli, there's just something about Sam Pioli I've always liked, and I agree with Nathan in that sense. Nathan Patterson would genuinely do so well in Sam Pioli's system because he would be a wing back as well, and he
yeah.
would be lethal. But there's not many other decent managers. But it's time. Scotland have to go foreign. It has to be a foreign manager that actually likes attacking football, not
Carl says Bielsa.
get him out of Uruguay. I would celebrate.
Yeah, I would as well.
I think that would be one of the best appointments Scotland have ever done. But
And
yeah,
it would obviously get his
run. Or stop
his
sharing already.
translator
Yeah,
his translator in the in, in the job as well. Um,
it's wild. I've stopped sharing it anyway. But I think the smart move. I agree with you. Is Casper Hielmand. The dream
yeah,
for me would be a Joachim Low, etc. But
oh yeah,
if if Rangnick was
yeah.
available tomorrow, I would take Rangnick in a heartbeat because it
Mm,
makes sense
yeah,
with all number 10s as well. But I don't know. I think there's only one. There's only two genuinely decent Scottish managers right now, and that's McInnes and David Moyes. They're both employed. You're not going to get
yeah.
them.
That's the problem you've got is that there's too many managers that are definitely employed. So again, there's not really a big enough choice. So my question to you is: do you give Clark the World Cup qualifying campaign and then see what happens? No.
No, I'm like, if those managers are available right now that are high profile, actually know what to do international level and play good football, I'm going for them now. I am not. I'm not giving him. I think he had the Euros, he had the Euros qualifiers and the tournament. He had the World Cup qualifiers, didn't make it. He redeemed himself with the Nations League promotion, and he had the Euro qualifiers and the tournament that he betrayed his style, and now he's just had this waste of a Greek game. I think he's had enough time.
Enough time.
I think it's time. I think it's time. Let him go. Casper Hielmand is what 52 years old as well.
Mm,
So that's a good international age. I wouldn't mind it. Joachim Low's 61, I think.
yeah.
But he's been out of the game for so long. But he says he's been out studying other international teams. So if he's paying attention to the game, that says a lot about somebody.
Yeah.
Is I would take one of those two if we could do
The
it
only thing
well.
I'll say to that, Nathan, just as Wales did the push the panic button, SFA are too scared to push the panic button.
They're so afraid. They are so afraid.
So I think what's going to happen is he's probably going to get the World Cup qualifying campaign. We look at that group. Denmark, obviously Greece are in there, but Belarus is interesting. Now
They
I
haven't
know
played them
Belarus
in
have
a
been
while.
I know Belarus have been out of qualifying for like a number of years. Obviously due to the fact that obviously, as we say, don't bring politics into football, but obviously with the Ukraine Russia um,
I've
war going on.
I still hate the whole thing. And this is going to sound harsh, but why do the Russian players continue to be victimized for this. I mean, it's not their fault, and yet they still cannot
Mm,
play. And I'm like, I really like that Arsene Sarkarian, and he was denied entry into Scotland because of what's going on. I'm like, he was denied entry to Manchester to play. He's been denied entry to play in Scotland, but he was also denied entry to play in the Europa League for Sociedad. And I'm like,
yeah,
how is he like? He's done nothing wrong.
he hasn't done it. No, no, he hasn't.
If you're going to ban Russian players, you ban the Ukrainians. Doesn't matter how many times Zinchenko cries. Like
Yeah.
it's time. Like you can't blame one nation and not do the other. Last time I checked, the Ukrainians dropped a anti um, anti aircraft missile on a Russian hospital, on a Russian school, and the Russians done the exact same thing. I'm sorry, if you're going to punish one country, you punish the other. You let Russians back into football. Let them play. Like
Mm.
they're doing nothing wrong.
So, yeah, Greece, Denmark, and Belarus.
Hard,
How
but
confident are you to get out of that group?
I think we'll finish third on 4 or 5 points. Honestly, I'm not overly confident unless Steve Clarke realizes actually, you know what, we were playing good attacking football. Let's stick with it. Then let's
Mm.
do it. If he goes back and plays defensive football, then I'm
Yeah,
already backing away because I don't
this
like it.
this is what I've been like saying for ages now. That yes, the 5-4-1 we can all say is absolutely awful, but the formation he's been playing, that 4-3-2-1 or 4-2-3-1, that was working. That
Yeah,
was working a lot in the last campaign where we beat Spain, where we beat Georgia, where we beat Norway, where we beat Cyprus. That was working. Now,
mhm,
obviously, Greece was a step too far, and fair play to Greece because I think they're a very good attacking side.
yeah,
But I think that game against Greece has really woken up to the fact that look, that's not going to be an easy game at Hampden. It's not going to be an easy game in Athens. So
yeah, exactly.
um, Denmark home and away. Like we've beaten Denmark before. I don't think Denmark are the same team that they are. Um,
But
I think Rasmus.
they still have the quality in their squad that can hurt us. They've got so many more.
Yeah,
I think the interesting thing though is I think in terms of player for player, weapon for weapon, we're quite even. But the only difference is their players are more consistent scoring goals than we are. I think that's the only difference. We have a
yeah.
lot of top level. We have a lot of players at the highest level, like Denmark, but those players are scoring goals.
I think the one thing that really concerns me is the fact that Scott McTominay is our only attacking threat at this moment in time. John McGinn looks like he's playing in treacle sometimes,
Yeah,
and it's just not good enough. And again, you know, our corners into the box are absolutely horrendous as well. So
oh, yeah,
look, give Steve Clarke his due. He's done a fantastic job. But as I said earlier, the SFA don't press the panic button. They won't. So I think Clarke is definitely getting the World Cup qualifying campaign. Then if he doesn't get us there, he's gone. I think he's quite clearly said it. 2026 is when his contract runs out. Is he likely to sign another contract? I don't think so. That would obviously take him to 8 years in charge or 7 years in charge. I think he'd probably be said like enough's enough. But I think the one thing we've got to really look ahead to for these qualifiers, get younger players called up.
yeah.
Doesn't matter who it is. Lennon Miller, Ben Doak, get them called up.
Get Liam
Yes, you can
Henderson
have
back
like
in the
a
squad
few
as well.
experienced heads. Look, oh, okay. If you want to play Craig Gordon and goal, play Craig Gordon and goal. If you want to play John Suter at the back, then I'm absolutely fine by that. But not Grant Hanley.
Mm,
So and obviously, you know, give players like George Hurst a game. Give Conway a game. You
yeah,
know, this is where we really need to be careful with these kind of players because unfortunately You don't have a career for that long. And
Exactly.
hopefully by the time that we get around to these qualifiers, look, I'll say this now. I think we beat Belarus home and away. I do think we beat Belarus home and away. Denmark away, I think we get beat. Um, Denmark at home. Well, if it, who knows? Who knows? Who knows what will happen? But if we can beat Denmark at Hampden, then that would be great. Greece, look, we beat them away for dues. I think we'll be a lot better against them next time.
Hmm.
Um, and then it's just a case of whether we can, go and I th- I honestly think we can get second in this group,
I think it's
provided
possible. It's possible, yeah.
provided that we can win most of these games. But it's gonna be very, very difficult, to say the very least. But if we don't get to the World Cup, then Clark will be gone. I think he'll resign, and then it's just a case of what really happens next. And if I'm being honest, I'm not really convinced McInnes has long Killy left, because I think Killy are having a bit of a barren season. But then again, I think everyone is allowed a barren season, to
I
say the
agree.
very least. So, but yeah, call up younger players. Call up younger players. Get a bit of life back into this squad. And if you want to keep your Robertsons, if you want to keep your McGinns, then that's absolutely fine to me. Dykes will probably be back as well. You'll probably have, obviously, Ben Doak, bring Ryan Golden, bring Lewis Morgan in, bring Lewis Ferguson in. Then we'll be fine. We'll be fine. So I honestly think the pros outweigh the cons. I think in this instance, um, but I think if we don't qualify for the World Cup, I think Clark goes.
Yeah, I agree. And I was thinking about how I would set up the Scotland squad realistically, and I've kind of got like how I would set up realistically, and including like obviously I put like a dash beside it, like optional players, etc. But like
Yeah.
I would. Now I've put McTominay back a position, but that's only because I've got him in like a box to box type position in the partnership role. But if we're sticking with that, say if we were sticking with that 4-2-3-1, I've gone for this quite quickly. This is
Okay.
how this is how I would set up the Scotland squad. So I'll zoom in so everyone can see it from start to finish. So I personally think going forward, I would actually play McCrory in goal. McCrory, or to be fair, Angus Gunn when he's fully fit. So that's my goalkeepers. Johnson or Hickey, if fully fit, at right back.
Yeah.
Robertson, I think for a long time is going to be undisputed left back unless Tierney takes over. So I've got Tierney left-sided centre back. Then my right side, either Suter or Hendry, depending on who gets in the role. I've got Billy Gilmore or / Ryan Christie in that holding role because they play that role quite well. McTominay, he can go up and down in that 8 role. I've got John McGinn in that central attacking role.
Yeah.
And then on the left-hand side, I've got Lewis Ferguson or Lewis Morgan.
Hmm.
And then on the right side of like the wide number 10 role, on the right I've got Ryan Gauld or Ben Doak, and then up front George Hurst, Tommy Conway, or Lawrence Shankland. For me personally, I don't think Lyndon Dykes is going to feasibly again, but this is how theoretically I would have Scotland going forward. There's still some other
Mm.
players like even like beside McTominay, like right now, I would still say Henderson. I don't know why he's never played. To be actually no, hold on, maybe not. Since if he's never going to get in the squad, then I'll just take out Henderson and I'll say Miller or even Connor Barron,
Hmm.
and then that's what you can do. You can remove if I'll remove McTominay from that role for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Miller or Barron, and then you can rotate realistically between McTominay or McGinn in that central role.
Yeah.
So that's how I would go with her positions, and it's so much stronger. Actually, I can put beside Robertson. You can put you could realistically put Doig, because I think he's going to be a really good left back. There's something about him I really do like, but that's why I don't know who else you could put beside Tierney, but I'm definitely not putting Hanley. Stuff that.
No, absolutely not.
But those are good options as well, young options as well that fit the bill. I don't know what anyone else thinks, but that's what I would do. What? Scotland needs someone like. Is that meant to be Griffiths, Luca? Because no, thank you. He's done. He's
done.
finished.
Yeah, he is done. He is done. For sure.
Anyone else in the chat though, let me know what you think. Obviously, you can agree, disagree. It's fine, but that's what I think anyway. That's how I would say it.
100%. Bring some younger talent. James says 100%. Bring some younger talent, and Clarke needs to be more bolder in the style of play. Try something different, not stick to the same. Do the same thing over and over again. Same with the athletes in the Olympics or other sporting events. Hello, Luca. Hope you're well. Yeah, not bad, mate. Yeah, Lee Griffiths has been retired for a while.
Number of years. But that's what I like, this whole narrow 4-2-3-1 that I credit Nagelsmann for it, because nobody was doing it at international level. But he plays a natural holding midfielder beside a box-to-box destroyer, and then you've got a central attacking midfielder who plays like a box-to-box 8 as well, and then you've got two wide 10s that make it so narrow that it forces teams to stretch on their fullbacks, which makes it harder to make chances for the opposition. And then we can just pass the ball about and pick pockets. And then you can't. None of these players here, realistically, apart from maybe Miller because he's so inexperienced. Not one of these players that I've actually listed are actually bad passers of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But yet we play players that can't pass a ball.
It's just whether or not they can gel together, I suppose.
We should be trying it. I hope we don't change the system.
No, absolutely no. I'm happy with the 4-2-3-1, 4-3-2-1, whichever it is, or if it's a 4-3-3, you know, the decide. But no, I think we've got a good young squad coming up, but it's just we don't really pick youngsters. We do pick oldies, and it does feel like that. But anyway, Reece, thank you very much for coming on. I really do appreciate it, and there's no one else I would speak Scotland with than you, my friend. Tell the people where they can find you.
So thanks for having me. It's good to see you and everyone else in the chat. So you can find me on any platform that is hell. So YouTube especially, and Twitch. So the Weekly Steel Chair, my YouTube channel. It's the Steel Chair on Twitch, which is also my Twitter handle, Steel Chair with a 1. And then you can find me on the World of Football podcast. We'll get that back up soon with Nathan. Obviously, Doug comes on now and again. We'll get him back on. Carl as well. Just chatting football away and causing havoc, because that's what I do best.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you very much. And obviously, do check out the Steel Chair. Reece's channel link will be in the description down below.
I am 16 subscribers away from 300.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, after my original channel got butchered, I've had to restart my channel, which was last year. I had to restart the whole thing, which was annoying. But the fact that I'm nearly at 300, my aim, I don't have a realistic aim for subscribers, but you know what? There's still 9 months left of the year. If I can get close to 500, I'll actually take that as a win. But I'm aiming for at least 400. It's not a bad thing. I don't care about the subscribers. I care about delivering good content to everybody.
Absolutely. I'm the same as well. Good stream, lads. Thank you, John. Good to see you in the chat, my friend.
Thank you.
Cheers, lads. Good discussion. It's frustrating, but we'll still be there come the next international break. Take care. Yes, absolutely. So keep an eye out on the socials as well. There will be a Merseyside derby preview coming up. Not sure when, but I am in the I'm going to be speaking. I'm going to be speaking to a couple of Evertonians, hopefully for that day. Don't know what day it's going to be yet. Whether it's going to be, it could be Saturday, it could be Monday. I'll let you know. It's definitely not going to be Sunday because obviously that's Mother's Day, and obviously doing some with my wife, doing some with my mum. So yeah, Mother's Day is Sunday. So and obviously there's the FA Cup as well, which is quite shocking to say the very least as well. But guys, thank you very much for watching. Please do give the video a like as you exit the stream as well, and do please consider hitting that subscribe button on the Dugout Football channel and on the weekly Steel Chair as well. But as I said, I will be back very soon with a Merseyside Derby preview. Enjoy the weekend, enjoy the FA Cup, and yeah, we'll see you very soon. Take care. Bye bye for now.